The truth is, most women don't fear failure. They fear being alone with themselves. Not lonely in a dramatic way, but quiet alone. No texts. No validación. No distractions. Just you and your thoughts. And for a lot of ambitious women, that silence feels unbearable. But here's the thing, the women who change everything about their lives all learn this one skill first. They learn how to be alone without feeling empty, without spiraling, without needing someone to confirm their worth. You've probably felt it. That subtle discomfort when plans get canceled. That urge to scroll, text, or attach yourself to anyone, just to avoid sitting with yourself. And society rewards that. Tells you being desired equals being valuable. Being busy equals being important. But most people think connection creates confidence. Actually, confidence is what makes connection healthy. In this video, you're going to learn why learning to be alone rewires your standards, your self-respect, and your power. Not in a cold, isolated way, but in a grounded, magnetic way. And it starts with the first principle that changes everything. So let's not waste any more time. Let's begin. Principle 1. Emotional self-sufficiency. The skill that makes you unshakable. This matters because neediness silently sabotages your life. Not just in dating, but in friendships, careers, and decisions. When you rely on external validation to feel okay, you shrink. You tolerate less than you deserve behavior. You chase instead of choosing. Emotional self-sufficiency means this. Your emotional stability does not depend on someone else's attention. You enjoy connection, but you don't require it to feel worthy. And psychologically, this changes how people respond to you instantly. Studies show that people who display secure attachment, comfort with closeness and independence, are perceived as more charismatic, competent, and attractive. This works because the human brain is wired to respect boundaries and self-trust. When you don't urgently need approval, your nervous system stays regulated. You respond instead of react. Think about women like Anne Hathaway or Rachel McAdams. Their appeal isn't loud. It's grounded. They don't perform for validation. They're comfortable in their own presence. And that calm confidence is magnetic. We've all been in that situation where someone pulls back, and suddenly your mood crashes. That's not love, that's emotional outsourcing. Here's how you start building emotional self-sufficiency. Exactly. Stop immediately reacting to emotional discomfort. Sit with it for 10 minutes before reaching for distraction. Create one non-negotiable solo ritual per day. Walking, journaling, gym time, no phone, no noise. Ask yourself, if no one noticed this choice, would I still make it? Practice self-validation. Name what you did well today out loud. Reduce oversharing. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. But here's the important part. Once you stop needing people emotionally, your standards rise automatically. And that leads directly to the next principle, how being alone sharpens your discernment instead of dulling your desire. Quick pause. If this part hit a little too close to home, that's not an accident. This channel is for women who are done outsourcing their worth and ready to move differently. So if you're not here for surface-level motivation, but for real psychological shifts, subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what's the hardest part about being alone with your thoughts right now? I read those, and I built these videos around what you're actually struggling with. Principle 2. Solitude sharpens your standards. Why alone time raises the bar automatically. Most people think standards come from knowing what you want. Actually, standards come from knowing what you won't tolerate. And here's the truth. You can't hear that clearly when you're constantly surrounded by noise. Social noise. Romantic noise. Validation noise. When you're always interacting, explaining yourself, accommodating others, your intuition gets drowned out. Solitude is where discernment is built. Psychologically, this works because alone time increases self-concept clarity, the degree to which you understand your own values, boundaries, and identity. Research shows that people with high self-concept clarity are less likely to settle, over-explain, or stay in misaligned situations. Why? Because they're not confused about who they are. When you learn to enjoy being alone, desperation disappears. You stop forcing chemistry. You stop romanticizing potential. You stop negotiating your non-negotiables. Think about Megan Fox's energy in her most confident eras. She wasn't chasing relevance. She wasn't over-accessible. She chose distance intentionally. That space wasn't emptiness, it was power. It communicated, I don't need this. I'm choosing it. We've all been there, staying too long in situations that feel off simply because being alone felt worse. But here's the thing. Once solitude becomes peaceful, low-quality connections feel loud and invasive. Here's how to use solitude to raise your standards exactly. Spend time alone without consuming content. No podcast, no videos. Let your thoughts surface. Write down moments when you felt drained after interactions. Patterns reveal standards. Define your deal-breaker list based on emotional responses, not fantasies. Practice saying no without justification. Your comfort is reason enough. Ask yourself weekly, does this connection add clarity or confusion? Now this is important. When your standards rise, fewer people qualify. And that can feel uncomfortable at first. But that discomfort is temporary. What replaces it is precision, confidence, and self-trust. And once you stop filling space with the wrong people, something powerful happens next. You become deeply attractive without trying. That's exactly what the next principle is about. Principle 3. Alone time builds magnetic presence. Why detachment makes you irresistible. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Trying to be liked is the fastest way to become forgettable. But when you're comfortable being alone, something subtle and insanely powerful shifts in how you show up. You stop performing. You stop filling silence. You stop adjusting your personality to match the room. And psychologically, this creates presence. Presence is not confidence theater. It's nervous system regulation. When you're okay on your own, your body isn't scanning for approval. Your tone slows. Your eye contact deepens. Your words carry weight. Research in social psychology shows that people who are less reactive and less validation-seeking are perceived as higher status, even when they say less. This is why solitude creates magnetism. You're no longer energetically chasing. You're grounded. And humans are wired to lean toward grounded energy. Think about Rachel McAdams in interviews. She's warm, but she's not trying to impress. She pauses. She chooses her words. That calm detachment makes people lean in. Or think of Anne Hathaway's composure. She doesn't rush to prove intelligence or likability. She trusts herself to be received. Most people confuse magnetism with being interesting. Actually, magnetism is being uninterested in forcing connection. We've all been in that situation where someone talks too much, overshares too fast, tries too hard to bond, and it pushes you away. Meanwhile, the woman who's comfortable in silence, she's unforgettable. Here's how to build magnetic presence through alone time. Exactly. Practice silence. In conversations, pause before responding instead of filling space. Reduce over-explaining. Say what you mean, then stop. Spend intentional time alone before social events to ground yourself. Observe instead of perform. Let people reveal themselves. Ask yourself, am I expressing or trying to be received? But here's the thing. Once you become magnetic, you'll notice something confronting. Attention increases. Options increase. And that leads to the final principle, how being alone teaches you to choose, not attach. Principle 4. You learn to choose, not attach. The ultimate power shift. This is where everything clicks. Attachment is driven by fear. Choice is driven by self-trust. Most people think attachment is passion. Actually, attachment is anxiety wearing a romantic mask. When you haven't mastered being alone, every connection feels urgent. You rush intimacy. You overlook red flags. You cling to potential because losing someone feels like losing stability. And psychologically, this keeps you stuck in dopamine-driven bonding, chasing emotional highs instead of evaluating long-term alignment. But when you're deeply comfortable alone, attachment loosens its grip. Studies in attachment theory show that securely attached individuals don't bond faster. They bond better. They assess. They observe. They don't confuse chemistry with compatibility. This works because their sense of safety comes from within, not from someone else's presence. Think about Megan Fox again, especially in phases where she was selective, quiet, and unbothered. That wasn't arrogance. That was discernment. She wasn't attaching to attention. She was choosing experiences that matched her energy. We've all been in that situation where someone shows interest, and suddenly you're emotionally invested before trust is built. But here's the thing, when you don't fear being alone, you don't rush to secure a place in someone else's life. You let people earn access. Here's how to shift from attachment to choice exactly. Slow down emotional intimacy. Time reveals truth faster than intensity. Detach outcomes from self-worth. Interest is data, not validation. Ask yourself, would I still want this if nothing came from it? Observe consistency, not words. Choose based on alignment, not chemistry spikes. And once you start choosing instead of attaching, your life becomes quiet in the best way. No emotion en el chaos. No anxious waiting. Just clarity, stability, and power. Which brings us to the final takeaway. So here's the truth most people never learn. When you learn to be alone, you stop settling. You stop chasing. You stop negotiating your worth. First, emotional self-sufficiency makes you unshakable. You no longer outsource your stability. Second, solitude sharpens your standards, because clarity replaces desperation. Third, alone time builds magnetic presence, making you calm, grounded, and unforgettable. And finally, you learn to choose instead of attach, creating relationships from power, not fear. This is the transformation. You don't become closed off. You become selective. You don't lose desire. You lose anxiety. Being alone didn't make her lonely. It made her dangerous in the best way. This was Magnetic Her. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, take a moment to reflect. And if you have any recommendations for my future videos, let me know in the comments. Before you go, if this video changed the way you see being alone, make it official. Subscribe to Magnetic Her. This is your space for elevation without apology. And I want you to comment one sentence below. What shifted for you today? Not for me, for you. Because naming the insight is how it sticks. I'll see you in the next one. Until the next video, stay confident, smart, and glowing.